In this video, we are going to go through the AES tutorial. To start the tutorial, we click on AES tutorial. It brings us to the AES tutorial homepage, where we have a brief summary of the AES encryption standard. To continue with the tutorial, we click continue. This brings up the AES tutorial. Basically, there are two ways to go about the tutorial. You can either use a text or a file while you go through the tutorial. For this process, we're going to use the text. We're going to type in plain text. As you can see, as you type in your plain text, the plain text is converted to binary with each keystroke. Then also in the tutorial section here, you can see the input of your plain text. Then you insert the key. For AES, we need a 32-bit key. Click on encrypt. As you can see, the various outputs for the different section of the AES algorithm is shown here. For instance, for the sub byte, the shift row, the mix column, and the add round key. Then the output of the encryption is shown here. Then to the top on the right, you have a button that will lead you to the AES decryption tutorial. Right below that, you have the space for you to browse in case you're using the file as your tutorials. Then you have a button that brings up the glossary. Then right under that button, we have the main tutorial section that explains each step of AES algorithm and the corresponding output. The default is the input which is the plain text and the binary converted plain text. Then you have the sub byte, explanation on sub byte and the output. You have the shift row, and the output. You have the mix column and the output, and you have the add round key. In a situation where, as you learn, you want to know more about some basic terms, you can click on the glossary and the glossary window will appear. There you can find the explanation for some terms in cryptography. To bring up the decryption section of the tutorial, you click on the button. In this section, we can actually decrypt the text we encrypted in the first encryption tutorial section. To do this, we need to copy our ciphertext from the output into the input text box. But first of all, you have to select that you want to use the text. Then we need the exact key we use in encryption in order for us to decrypt. So we copy the key and put it into the key section here. Then to carry out the decryption, click on decrypt. And as you can see here, we have our plain text converted back from the binary input. And same also here, we have the explanation of the process involved. We have the subbyte explanation. We have the ship rope, mix colon, add round key. So this is what the tutorial while you use text. So we're going to go through the tutorial using file. We'll bring up the tutorial once more, AESTutorial. We'll continue, but this time we're going to use text. So first of all, let's make our text file. We'll name the text file text test and save on desktop. Now we go back to AES demonstrator. We select that we want to use files. Then this section will be enabled so we can browse to the desktop and select the file we created. As you can see, the content of the file will be shown in the input text box, and the binary will be shown. The binary of the plain text will be shown just below it. And we can input the key we want to use for encryption. Click on encrypt, and here you can see the output of the encryption process. You can also go to the desktop to view the encrypted file. So just as in the text encrypt, here in the file encrypt, you also have the explanation for all the steps taken in the AES algorithm for encryption. To decrypt your text file through the tutorial mode, you bring up the AES decryption tutorial section. You select file and browse to the cipher file. Open it. Here you can see the cipher is similar to the one you have here. Then you copy the key and paste it into the key text box for decryption. Then you click on decrypt. As you can see, the file has been decrypted, and you can see the content, the plain text contained in the file, similar to the input we have here. You can also go to the desktop to verify this. The ciphertext. We have the plain text, the ciphertext, and the decrypted cipher to get back our plain text. And also you can go through the tutorial for each step explaining what happened through the decryption process. So this is the basic walkthrough of the AES tutorial.